1,000 mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. That's where I am. There ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know.
It's about time, man, because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get the kingdom. I'm ready to live. I'm ready to breathe fresh. I'm ready to have beautiful, pure women, okay? Not no strawberry hollers on this side. I'm ready to have children, man, you can vibe with, okay? Be around brothers. Be around the Lord himself, okay? I'm ready to go and visit places in the galaxy that we didn't know exist, all right? I'm ready to walk on sandy beaches, man, and explore the ocean floors. I'm ready to fly, okay? I'm ready to eat real food, okay? I'm ready to drive a chariot, man. All right, I'm ready to minister to the Lord and to be ministered to, man. Okay, I'm ready to worship Yahushua in its full entirety. Okay, I'm ready for it. We're ready, man. I'm ready to see angels and greet angels.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua.
Repeat. Mars guys, how did it happen? Fuck know this.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to it, the redemption of our body. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod, thou shalt dash them in pieces, like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
Parents get me. Mine started tired of that. I'm fussing on this.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Makakwadash, pushing to get up out of there. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, and what we're going to get into this morning. All right, this morning news and prophecy. We go into how was all in with his new world order. Okay, infrastructure. Okay, and that's been at the forefront of the agenda. These last few years. All right, and as we've seen under Trump, these things have accelerated. Okay, Trump is the guy that they put in the White House, all right, to accelerate, all right, this new world order agenda. You see, and this is what we're seeing, happen in real time. Now, what I want to do before we get into the videos is go into the book of Psalms, all right, the second chapter. Okay, so when you get into the book of Psalms, chapter 2, okay, and we'll just go through the whole chapter, because Psalms chapter 2, sums up, a lot of things, from the conspiracy of the elites, they try to attempt this new world order, all right, coming rulership of Yahweh Shai, okay, these heathens going into captivity, all these things are summed up in Psalms, the second chapter. It's a potent chapter. So let's start. I'm gonna read the beginning in the NLT because it gives a little more clarity, to what these devils, are doing real time. All right, what they got going on in real time. Now, when you let's go here. So let's go to the book of Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. In the NLT says, "Why are the nations so angry? Why do they waste their time with futile plans?" Okay, because you look at these nations as they're planning this new world order, there's an anger element, and this is why you see these nations are beginning to war. All right, because they're warring over who's going to control, all right, the new world order, who's going to have what leverage, and you see what region, and who's going to have control over resources. You see, so there's a dynamic of anger that we're seeing playing out. Okay, and it's playing out in war. Okay, because Iran, is down with the New World Order. Okay, but they don't want to go in as do boys. Okay, as American do boys into this New World Order. They want to go in more independent. Okay, and this is why we see skirmishes, constantly breaking out, between these different nations. Certain, Western, oligarchs want to see Russia, okay, weaken, going into the New World Order because Russia coming in strong, China coming in strong, and these Western oligarchs, they want a little more, all right, leverage, over certain nations. And we're seeing infighting, man, and it's a beautiful thing, and it just shows that these plans are futile because the fact that this devil is trying to replace the Most High with technology, that's a futile plan. Okay, that's unachievable. Okay, what Esau is trying to do, it's not like it's even achievable. Okay, even with this technology to watch everyone, well, the Most High does more than just look at everybody. Okay, there's more to it than that. Okay, trying to watch everybody, trying to read people's mind with this technology. The Most High does more than that. Okay, so this a vain, empty plan, a futile plan, a meaningless plan that this devil is trying to pull off, man. Along these other nations to destroy America, but these other nations are not innocent, man. They're all part, okay, of the agenda of technocracy, man. Okay, and AI, you see, and undermining the Most High. You see, verse 2 says, the kings of the earth prepare for battle. The rulers plot together against the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai and against his anointed one. Okay, because they want to stop the kingdom of Yahweh Shai from being established in the earth. These devils are trying to stop the birthright of Jacob from being established, man. You see, and they convinced, Esau has convinced these other nations that he has a way, through technology, through witchcraft, through AI. He's convinced these nations that he has a way to offset prophecy, man, to offset the blessing of Israel, which begins with Yahweh Shai establishing the throne of David in the earth, man. Okay, so we're coming to a time when these devils, they're getting ready to go hard body against the truth, man. As they're lining up, putting things in place, to switch over this system, man. Okay, we know that there's going to be a heavy persecution against his word, man. Okay, because in their mind, verse 3 says, let us break their chains, they cry, and free ourselves from slavery to the Most High. You see, and see, Esau is subjugated. It's on two different levels. First, he hates the instructions of the Bible. He hates the righteousness of the scriptures. And he wants to create a society where the scriptures, all right, are voided out. Okay, he looks at the righteousness of the scripture as chains, as if righteousness is holding people back, and that's the game that he came to with Eve. He made it seem as if righteousness was holding Eve back from being, for tapping into her full potential. She could be much more, but she's restricted by righteousness, man. That's the game that the serpent came to with Eve, and this is the game Esau comes with to these nations as, look, we can be so much more, but the restrictions of the scriptures hold us back. So this devil wants to run a society, where the scriptures are completely null and void. Which in his society, especially here in America, man, the scriptures don't hold no weight, man. The Esau is the law of the land. Okay, here in America, man, and certain other parts of the world as well. Okay, and then this devil, he wants to tap into immortality. You see, he wants to go around, okay, the Most High and tap into immortality, man. You see, he thinks that he can tap into living forever by his own means, man. Okay, so this devil has all this ambition, and it's going to collapse on top of him, man. That's why verse 4 says, but the one who rules in heaven laughs, the Lord scoffs at them, man. Okay, this is comedy to the Most High, what Esau was doing. The Most High is not in the heavens, trying. Esau is playing his role according to the Lord's will, man. Okay, and the fact that he's trying to pull this off is comical, man. Okay, this is laughable what the devil is trying to do. You see, Most High not, in the spirit realm, like, damn, he close. No, this nigga nowhere near close. Okay, he be capping like this nigga nowhere near close, man. Okay, he be making all these predictions, and it's gonna be by 2030, AI is gonna be, it's gonna know everything, man. It's gonna, it's gonna place all jobs. No humans will be useless by 2032. No human will be, this nigga be capping, man. Okay, he be making these false predictions, and then people get to reacting off the prediction. But let's go. Let's get this in the KJV. So let's go. This is Psalms 2 and 5. It said, I read it 4 again. It says, he that speaketh in the heaven shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Okay, see, the Lord gonna stop playing with Esau after a while, man. You see, we coming to a time where the Lord, and see what we're seeing now, with the way they're getting that American military, that's the Lord beginning to crank this thing up, man. And and he's going to stop playing with Esau, man. He's going to turn America to a desert. Okay, and he's going to send back Yahushua, man, to take down all these heathens, man. Okay, this whole little agenda and conglomerate, this whole conspiracy of a new world order, which conspiracy just means, all right, with inspiration. Okay, that means two or more people coming together, okay, to plan wickedness, man, to plot wickedness, man. And all these nations are coming together to plot wickedness, man, beginning with the elites of Esau, man. Okay. So and this devil, he knows how to demonize every word. You know, he tries to demonize every word that calls him out. Okay. It says, then he shall speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king, okay, upon my holy hill of Zion, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay. So the heavenly Father is from the plant Yahweh Shai and rulership in the earth, man. That's where everything is leading to, man. This devil's attempt at this new world order and this third world's war, okay, is leading to the heavenly Father. This is him getting ready to make the enemies, all right, our enemies, all right, a footstool. Okay, this is him getting ready to make our enemies a footstool, man. You see, because real quick, when you go to Psalms 110, since we mentioned it, get straight to the point. This is Psalms, all right, 110 and 1. Okay, Psalms 110 and 1, it says, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand. So this is the heavenly Father speaking unto what Yahweh Shai, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool, man. Okay, and it's going to be in this war, all right, that the Lord is going to make the enemies of Yahweh Bashem Shai a footstool, man. He's going to make our enemies a footstool unto us, man. You know, which is a possession. You see? Now, when you jump down, verse 5, how is he going to do that? Okay. Verse 5, it says, the Lord at thy right hand shall strike through kings, okay, in the day of his wrath. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries, man. Okay. And this is the punishment of the nations following Esau with this wicked agenda, man. Okay. Yahweh Shai is coming to strike through kings in the day of his wrath. Remember, the Lord said he's going to speak to them in his vexation and his wrath, man. He's going to speak to them by sending Yahushua. Okay, he's going to speak to these. That's going to be the way the Lord speaks to these nations in his wrath, by sending Yahushua, man. Okay, to come clean this madness up, man. Okay, let's go back to Psalms 2 and 7. It says, I will declare the decree. The Lord has said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. So now it goes back to the beginning. You know, because Psalms chapter 2, verses 1 through 6, it sums up how this thing is going to end. You know, these nations conspiring, okay, you know, with this vain, all right, futile agenda of a new world order. Okay, the Most High, you know, is laughing at these devils. And how is the Most High laugh? He laughing through us, man. You know, you look at this clown show, all right, called the Empire, okay, because what's happening, man, the Most High is pulling back from Esau. You see, the Most High has been holding Esau in power, but as the Most High begin to draw back because it's time for this nigga to fall, we're starting to see Esau is base as hell, man. You know, for the longest, you know, he just been, it's like they had everything figured out. They were 20 steps ahead. But now, as we see prophecy to walk this nigga down, man, he's to the point to where there's things that he's winging. Certain things that he has mapped out and it's still on track to some degree, but there's certain things this nigga is winging out here, man. Okay? Like, this nigga really don't be having it all figured out like that, man. This nigga ain't no great, you know? The Most High done prop this nigga up, and now as the Most High beginning to draw back, man, we're seeing how base this nigga is, man. Okay? So, going back, Psalms 2, verses 1 through 6 is about, you know, the heathens conspiring this new world order led by Esau. The Most High laughing at these niggas. Then eventually the Most High is going to speak to them in his wrath, sending back Yahushua, and Yahushua is going to sit on the throne. And see, this was promised before the foundation of the world. You see, because you get to verse 7, this is a conversation, because even Psalms 110 and 1 is a conversation between the Most High and Yahushua. Psalms 2 and 7 is a conversation between the Most High and Yahushua. See, we've been invited to the courts of the kings, to where we're privy to these conversations, man, and we see them playing out real time. Okay? So now, Psalms 2 and 7, it goes back, before the foundation of the world, to a conversation between the Most High and Yahushua. Because how you know? Because it would. I will declare the decree. The Lord have said unto me, thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. So this is when Yahushua is spoken into existence, man. You see? Going back to Proverbs 8 and 28. 8, I think start like at 21. It's King Solomon in spirit speaking about his time that he was with the Heavenly Father. It was just him and the Heavenly Father, man. Okay, Psalms 2 and 8 said, ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. How is this going to happen? This is going to be the conclusion of the Third World War. Remember, they're having this conversation before the earth was created. So what we're seeing playing out is always been the build up to this moment. Okay, it said, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Well, let's go here, because what was this spoken of again? You see, this was the Heavenly Father, talking to Yahushua. But then when you get to Revelation, Yahushua is talking to us. And what is he? The same things that he was promised. Well, wait a minute. Revelation 2 and 25. You see, Revelation 2 and 25, it said, but that which you already, but that which you already have, but that which you have already, hold fast till I come. And what do we have? Faith. Faith in what? The victory of Yahushua. Yahushua coming to conquer the earth and righteousness, man. Okay, Esau, Edom getting ready to fall. Okay, these heathens going in captivity, man. We got to hold fast to their faith and be ready to die about it, man. Okay, because we're still going to get a victory even in death, man. You see? Now, verse 26, and he that overcometh, because we're getting ready to go through the straight gate. It's going to get uncomfortable. We're going to go through hatred, but we got to overcome that with the faith and the glory beyond the straight gate, man. Okay? It says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Wait a minute. Doesn't that sound like us having a heathen for an inheritance? Okay? And it says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of potter shall they be broken to shivers. So Yahushua is telling us the same thing that he was told by his father, by the Father, man. Okay, it says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and his vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. You see, so everything that we're seeing with this whole attempt at this new world order and this third world war is leading to this being fulfilled, man. And that's why we tap into these things. You see, so let's go from there. Get ready to watch this first one, because everybody, let's see. Let's go ahead and finish this, and then we'll watch that first video. This is Psalms 2 and 10. It said, be wise now, therefore, O you kings, be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice, all right, with trembling. Because the Most High addresses the leadership of the earth all the time. Okay, and see, as the Lord, as we're, kings in captivity, you see, and Esau, he's in his rulership. Well, we're receiving the instruction. Esau is not receiving the instruction. Okay, and there's going to be a promotion and a reward, for the remnant of Israel, and there's going to, okay, and he's going to make the tail the head, and the head the tail. Okay, Verse 12 said, kiss the son, lest he be angry and you perish from the way when his wrath is kindled but a little. And blessed are all they that put their trust in him. And that's the elect of Israel in this time. You know, men, women, and children that's allotted for salvation, man. To kiss the son means to what? All right, be pleasing to Yahushua. And now our life is about being pleasing to Yahushua, man, because we're going to see a major transition in the earth, man. You know, and the anger is being kindled, and pretty soon it's going to be unleashed, man. Okay. So let's go from there. And let's get this first video. So you got this, here we go. Because people are coming, you know, to the realization that it's something, these data centers are for something bigger than just doing prompts on AI. Okay. For doing, you know, Michael Jackson, you know, remixes. And you see Michael Jordan, you know, throwing LeBron in the trash can, you know, video. No, AI, data centers are something more serious than that, man. Okay. And people are coming to that realization like these niggas is wilding with these data centers, man. They don't give a damn. Imminent domain, they're saying is national security now. You know, they don't care about the pollution. You know, they don't care about the you know, the water being sucked up. Okay, waters, you know, rivers going dry, lakes going dry. They don't care. You know, they're all in. So it's like, what are these niggas so adamant about with these data centers, man? Okay, but we know it's a major part of their New World Order infrastructure. Okay, so let's play this.
What if the multi-billion-dollar AI revolution isn't actually about AI at all, but about building the physical infrastructure of a permanent mass surveillance state? On the surface, this massive data center boom has been sold to us as a patriotic tech race to beat China.
We are leading China by a lot in the AI race, and whoever wins the AI race, and we're going to win it.
But if you follow the money, the reality is exactly the inverse. These multi-billion-dollar windowless concrete fortresses bigger than some small cities are the physical machinery needed for military policing adjacent giants like Oracle, Palantir, and Flock, the foundational hardware and software that tracks your license plates, harvests your data, and runs predictive analytics on your daily life. And even putting all of that aside, the physical toll and the environmental impact is being felt by ordinary citizens right now. Next-gen hyperscale AI campuses consume more electricity than entire cities and drain local water supplies by the billions of gallons, leaving residents with skyrocketing utility bills and deafening industrial noise. And when citizens try to ask questions, they find their local governments bound by strict corporate NDAs, which leads to the uncomfortable reality that mainstream media is ill-equipped to address, which is that if both Donald Trump's Silicon Valley donors and the establishment Democrats are fast-tracking these massive projects all throughout America, who is actually looking out for the citizens? Joining me today to dig more into what's really going on with these AI data centers is Derek Bros, investigative journalist. He's also the founder of the Conscious Resistance Network and currently on his activation tour across America. Derek, thank you for taking some time to join us today.
Thanks for having me on again, James. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been a little bit since we've chatted. I think it was maybe like a year and a half ago. And I was reading a recent article of yours in The Last American Vagabond, and you were talking about Oracle, the rise of the AI surveillance state. A lot of people probably know the name Larry Ellison. He founded Oracle, also his media endeavors now, Paramount, Warner Brothers. I was just wondering if, just before we get into all the details, can you give us an overview of who the biggest players are that are pushing these AI data centers across the US?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the names are not going to be too surprising to most people. As you mentioned, Oracle, Google, Meta is another big one. I've recently been reading about how they're building a massive, I believe, 500-acre data center out in Tennessee, which is going to be destructive to, the environment and natural resources in so many different ways. So you've got Meta, you've got Google, you've got Oracle, and pretty much all of these big tech firms that people have become more familiar with over the years. What I think is important to understand, the way that connection is really made, is that the more these companies are gathering data about us, whether it's through things like flock cameras, automatic license plate readers, or just internet surveillance, they need somewhere to store that data, right? I mean, the data, it no longer can be contained in the old school data centers, which have been around for decades, which is what the internet has operated on. Particularly with the use of AI, is increasing the need for what are called hyperscale AI data centers. And so a lot of those same big names, the big tech companies that we've come to know the last couple decades, are going to be the ones who are really pushing for these hyperscale data centers. Amazon would be another one. And there's others that are probably lesser known. Palantir, of course, would be one of these. All of these different companies, whether they're the ones building the data centers directly, as Meta is doing, or they're funding and partnering with other organizations, which are lesser known names, it is really them and the collection of all this data that is causing this drive for the creation of these hyperscale data centers.
Okay, that's interesting you bring that up in terms of the surveillance angle, because that's something that I've sort of been looking at as well, is that we already have a ton of data centers in the US as it is. We have 10x the number compared to the next closest country, yet we're still trying to build thousands more. So I'm wondering, is this really about powering commercial AI applications like ChatGPT, or is it more around data harvesting or facial recognition, predictive systems, this kind of stuff that you were just talking about? What do you think the real plan is with these data centers?
I definitely think that this is related to the build out of the technocratic surveillance state, more than the average person just querying ChatGPT a couple of times, or Grok, or what have you. I've seen the memes out there where people are saying, using a chatbot, an LLM, for 10 minutes or something equals X amount of water. I don't know if anybody's got the actual calculations down, if any of us, have figured that out per se. But not to say it doesn't matter when you're using AI and you're not contributing in that way, but I absolutely do not buy the idea that somebody using it on the consumer level for a couple of queries a day is what's causing this expansion. As you said, the US already has more data centers than any other country, and they, by far. And I think this is really about the need to store this data, as this world that they're trying to push us into, of facial recognition being pervasive everywhere, automatic license plate readers, of course, all that stuff being powered by artificial intelligence. I think that's what this is really about. As these people have been describing the world they've been talking about for years, this technocratic state, great reset, et cetera, everything they want to push us into, 6G powered world that the Trump administration, let's be honest, is absolutely helping accelerate with big tech in the White House with them. That is going to facilitate the need for more hyperscale data centers. I don't think they can build out the surveillance state that they're trying to without having more storage for it and more places to to hold that data. But then also, once you've got the data stored, that's just one piece of the puzzle. Then you use AI to scan through all that data to try to look for patterns, to try to find extremists, if you will, because that's the other kind of part of this this conversation, is that the US government is increasingly putting out reports and propaganda in the media that people who are against data centers are either being funded by the Chinese government, or that they are so-called anti-tech violent extremists. And so I think absolutely part of the surveillance and the data harvesting is in order to identify those people who are opposing these things.
Absolutely. I think
And there you go, man. So people are awakening, to what these data centers are really about. Is playing into, this surveillance state. Okay. It's playing into, all right, data harvesting for the sake of a control system, a control grid. Okay. These data centers play a major part in this digital prison that they're building out. Okay. It's going to play a major part in buying and selling, because the money is going to be programmable. Okay. These digital currency is going to be programmable. You see, and these data centers play a part, okay, in regulating all this data that's going to be going back and forth in this system, okay, because the buying and sell is going to be all data. All right, no more cash. So all this purchasing back and forth is going to be all digital. They're going to know every purchase, what you purchase, how much you purchase. Okay, you're going to have money with expiration dates. You're going to have money that doesn't work, certain areas. You know, if you don't have a high, the devil gonna have it, man. All right, it's gonna be a very digital. It's gonna be digital tyranny, man. Okay, now let's go from here just to show you, you know, the let's go here because as the devil is having, you know, shortages of water. All right, I mean, shortages and fossil fuel because they need. It takes a lot of power. You know, these data centers are very energy intense, and it takes a lot of uh, uh uh, fossil fuel. That's why you see, the battle, for these fossil fuels. You know, because these data centers need, okay, mostly their diesel. Because they're these diesel turbines. All right, it's a shortage on them, because of how long it takes to manufacture them. There's a shortage on them, and there's also a shortage on workers, man. Because the devil, he's just going all out. He's throwing everything at this new world order. You know, if a brother want to get there real quick, I know we got it before. I think that's Matthew chapter 6. Um, okay, because the devil, he's throwing everything at this new world order infrastructure, man. To the point that he he's maxing out, man. Okay. This is yeah, get Matthew 6 and 21. The brother can post that Matthew 6 and 21, you know. So let's play this.
Of a big company where
This guy here, Mike Rowe, he used to be a TV personality, but now, he owns this foundation, that trains up, skilled workers, you know, engineers, electricians, welders, and he's talking about how these data centers are impacting, certain industries to the point that uh, there's a shortage on skilled workers, not enough, for, the data centers, man. Okay. So let's play this.
some elected official who is really like ringing the alarm bell, worried about the skills gap. Blue Forge Alliance, the company that oversees the maritime industrial base, I'm sure you're familiar. They're 15,000 companies who are collectively charged with delivering our submarines, our nuclear-powered subs, 2 Columbia, 1 Virginia class a year. I think it's a 2+1 cadence. I might have them reversed, but it's a massive undertaking. We need 3 a year. They called. They're like, we're having a hell of a time finding welders and electricians. Can you help? I said, maybe. How many do you need? 400,000.
Everyone keeps asking me how I do my podcast alone. The answer, Riverside. I get high quality.
400,000 welders?
In the next 8 years, they need to hire 400,000 skilled workers. Many are welders. The shipbuilding industry, China built 1,000 ships last year. We built 3.
Yeah.
Right?
China built 1,000 ships. America built 3. Okay. And that's another thing, people speak about the strength of America's military. Well, America's manufacturing is trash, especially for wartime. Okay. That's why you even had, Ford, the company Ford talking about they're going to have to convert, to building, all right, missiles. Okay. The company Ford going to convert to building missiles. And you see, okay, how the Ford Focus works. So the nigga that build the Ford Focus is going to build a missile now. Okay. America, you see, Esau, his greed and his ambition, his treachery, he does so much to now all these things are starting to backfire at the same time. Okay, because he got rid of manufacturing in America to get more profit, but now that he needs manufacturing for his new world order in America is not there. Okay, for his military and his new world order infrastructure, man. Okay, the workers are not there. You see, 400,000. That's a hell of a gap, man. So let's play this.
Rare earths, critical minerals, we can get into all that stuff too, but the front line of this is skilled labor. The data center thing, dude, Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, told me that the companies in his portfolio alone needed 300,000 electricians. What's coming is an infrastructure build out that's being calculated at $9 to $10 trillion over the next 9 years. A lot of it's data centers, but it's a lot of other stuff too. And we can get into data centers and AI. It's all fascinating to me, but it's all kind of academic if you can't build them. And if you can't build them because of a shortage of skilled labor, that'll go down in history of one of the greatest unforced errors of all time. And that's what people are beginning to realize. We have to reinvigorate the trades. We must, or we're going to be in a level of trouble that's truly unprecedented. Sorry, I know I'm rambling, but every 5 tradesmen, for every 5 who retire this year, 2 replace them.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have any idea how many welders there are in the U.S. right now?
I can tell you that whatever the number is, we need 400,000 more. I can tell you we're underwater. Like, it's worse with electricians right now. I was in Plano, Texas, a couple months ago, got a tour of the data center.
So as you can see, you know, they say 10 trillion. Esau is throwing everything at this, man. Okay, he's throwing everything at this, man, to try to get this off, man. Okay, and it reminds me, let's get this precept, but I had just looked something up too. All right. Yeah. Volkswagen losing money, so now they're gonna build missiles, man. You don't just get in the missile game, okay? You don't just build, all right, a Jetta, you know, Monday, and then Wednesday you're gonna build missiles. No, it don't work like that, man. Okay, okay. You Edomites are finished, man. You gave all that manufacturing to China, and now China's finna run off from the plug, man. Okay. China got hypersonic, subsonic, super duper sonic, every goddamn thing, man. You know, and you talking about you Volkswagen and Ford finna, nigga, get out of here. It's over. Okay, and that's why the Lord say He gonna laugh. You know, this is the Lord laughing at you Edomites in the last days, man. Okay, so let's oh boy, this the brother, the beloved brother Isaiah, GMS in Truth Orlando, Matthew 6:21 says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." You know, and this devil's treasure is in this new world order. He's throwing everything at it, man. Okay, he's throwing all his money, all his resources. He got a shortage on electricians, welders. Niggas a shortage on, you know, these gas turbines. Okay, you know, these niggas sucking up all the water. You see. You know, so this devil, he's throwing everything, man. He's tapping out. Esau is maxing out, man. We're seeing him come to them bounds that he can't pass, man. Okay, brother, want to post that? You know, you get that every day. So you remember when King Balak, this Moabite, and he was trying to stop, you know, Israel from coming into, you know, the promised land, their blessing. Okay, and he hired with Balaam to curse and destroy the Israelites, you know, which he was a Midianite, okay, a warlock, okay. So it says Balaam offered numerous animal sacrifices at 3 different mountain locations, but the Most High intervened each time, forcing Balaam to pronounce powerful blessings instead of curses. Okay, so there's nothing that these devils can do because this whole new world order is them trying to stop us from coming into our blessing, man. Okay, they're trying to stop Yahweh Shai from setting up his kingdom in the earth, man. How stupid can you be? Okay, do you see the do you see just the fact of what this devil has to pull off, man, should be a faith booster for us, man. Okay, because this ain't a nail biter where you like, damn, man, I hope he no, this is gonna be terrible, man. Okay, this finna be terrible what this nigga finna try to do, man. Okay, it's gonna be bloody, all right, but as far as all right, him pulling this off, man, it's gonna be terrible, man. Okay, it says the sacrifice and oracle. It said the first location, Bamath Baal, Balak built 7 altars, god damn, and offered a bull and a ram, because these data centers are like altars, man. You know, to this idol. You see, it says, and a ram on each. Balaam instead delivered an oracle declaring Israel too numerous and blessed to curse. Second location was the top of Pisgah. Another set of 7 altars and sacrifices were made. Balaam proclaimed that the Most High had not found fault or sin in Jacob and would not reverse his blessing. And that's the elect is going to be blameless in these days, man. You know, because the scripture talk about the accuser of our brethren is cast down. Okay, and this sacrifice finna be rejected, just like the Lord rejected Cain's sacrifice, man. Okay, it said third location, top of Peor, a final round of sacrifices was performed. The spirit of the Most High came upon Balaam, causing him to bless the camp of Israel and warn that anyone who cursed them would face destruction, man. You see, so you Edomites, you're in a hell of a position, man. You see. You're in the hell of a predicament, man. He's throwing everything at this new world order, man. Okay, let's go from there. I think there's one more that I had. Yeah, we say these YNs ain't got no skills. Yeah, nigga want to be no welder. Nigga want to be the next Adrian Broner and Dean. You know, that's what America. Everybody want to be an influencer. Everybody a celebrity. Niggas don't want to be no welder, man. Okay. I say niggas want to be Adrian Broner and Dean or I Show Speed. Niggas just traveling around the world racing every goddamn body, man. Okay, it's a vain culture, man. Okay, so let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go right here. So let's go to this. You know, because even what we're seeing, you know, with Iran, all right, you see them going back and forth, you know, because they were trying to, you know, they tried to bully Iran, that didn't work, you know, then they tried to put them a package together, you know, and get them, you know, because just like Catherine Austin Fitz, okay, the former banker, all right, she said that Iran was a leakage in the system that they want to plug up. Okay, as they're rolling this new world order out. So if they're rolling it out, you know, they're trying to fix this plug with Iran. Okay, well, I say Iran is down with a technocracy. Their citizens already have digital IDs. Okay, well, see, they don't want to go into this new world order as no do boy. Okay, they want to go into the new world order with some rank. So America came with a package, 300 billion. Okay, but then the spirit on them like, nah, nigga, let's go bully again, because it's a spirit, because these small hats gonna keep dragging America into this thing, man. Okay, until eventually other nations are gonna get involved. Okay, but just listening to now because they just set up a puppet, you know, in Iraq. Okay, who's fully down with this new world order. Now let's play this, a little bit of this, and I'll put this in the
Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. I am your co-host, Logan House. Today we have is Iraq's new technocrat, a rehearsal for Iran. U.S. data center protests go national as backlash grows and have massive power shortfall in Northeast thanks to AI data centers. And Patrick, we were just talking before we go on air here. It looks like we are going to hit 40 on the AI capability multiplier today. We're at 39.93 at the time of this recording.
3.0 at this point, but there's been significant developments in the AI world that indicates that the whole thing is compressing.
Yeah. Well, let's go to this first article. Is Iraq's new technocrat a rehearsal for Iran? And this is from you, from July 17th. And I'm guessing you're saying a rehearsal as in, are they testing this guy to see if they can find someone like him, if they were to take down the regime in Iran, to put someone like him in charge?
Well, maybe. Yeah, somebody like him. The offer that was made to this guy by President Trump is basically the same offer that they made to Iran in the first place, under the failed one at this point. The Memorandum of Understanding, it was called, and it was negotiated by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, both developers, real estate developers. Jared Kushner had no business being in the theater at all. He's not working for the government. He has no position, no authority whatsoever. But nevertheless, he was in the middle of the creation of the Memorandum of Understanding. Basically,
so when you hear about Witkoff and Kushner, remember these are real estate agents. You see, these are real estate agents going to discuss, all right, affairs between governments, man. Okay, so this is how you know they was coming with the sellout package to Iran. Okay, because it's when you hear about this devil, all right, Jared Kushner, which is married to one of Trump's daughter, okay, and this guy Witkoff, okay, they're the ones that's at the forefront of these smart cities. Okay. And mainly, you know, they going back to, they wanted regime change. So since they couldn't get regime change, now, you know, they're trying to talk this regime, okay, into coming on in. You see, but there's resistance. And why is there resistance? Because of prophecy, man. Because there has to be war. Okay. Like I say, they agree, you know, they agree with the big picture agenda of technocracy, man, but the role that America wants them to play, because this guy in Iraq is a puppet. Okay. He was put in office by, all right, America. You see, in Iraq oil, okay, the profits of Iraq oil already goes to American banks first. Okay. America be giving, like, you look at these, you know, they push like these Saudi princes are just these rich, royal, bigger than life, you know, figures. Okay. No, they're super rich. Okay. But they're propped up as if, you know, they're at the top of the, no, they're do boys for America. Okay. The Saudi prince, you know, you got the gold Lamborghinis and they come over here and spend all this money, and you would think that these niggas are bigger than life. Now they have a lot of money. The money is real, but this money that they have is just an allowance that America is giving them. You see, because the money from Saudi oil goes to American banks in New York first. America has trillions of Saudi money in their banks. Okay, so Saudi wanted to get cute. They could become bankrupt overnight. They can turn Saudi Arabia, okay, into, all right, Zimbabwe, man. Okay, so just like this guy here in Iraq, he's a puppet. All that money go to American banks from their oil that come out the Strait. That's why Iran closed the Strait, because most of that money goes to America. Okay, and then America give these Saudi, what they call the GCC countries, America give these niggas allowances, man. All right, now go record yourself in the Lamborghini and, you know, big gold bottles and have a tiger walking around. You know, go, you know, you see. But the real profit, most of the profit is tied up in American banks, man. Okay, so Iraq is already, that's why they went to war in Iraq. It's been like that ever since they went to Iraq, all right, in 2003. Okay, Iraq has been the puppet. You see? So let's play this.
What they offered Iran was a seat at the economic table in the world, and they offered them $300 billion in not reconstruction, but development funds. Development funds, that's not to fix things that were broken or bombed. That was just to be for economic development. So when this guy from his name is Al-Zaidi, came from Iraq to meet President Trump last week. Basically, he walked away with an oil deal with investment, like the oil companies are going to develop their oil fields for him again. A pipeline is on the books right now, and they also promised him, let's see, over how many years was it at this point? $400 billion in over 30 years for economic development. Wow. This is huge. But this is basically the same deal that they made to Iran.
Uh-huh.
This guy took it. He walked away with it, and he's very closely aligned with.
And he had no choice. What the hell is Iraq gonna do? Nothing. Okay. Well, see, Iran is in a different predicament. You see, Iran ain't got to take the deal that America wants to get them. Okay, or the Western oligarchs want to get them. Iran don't have to take that deal. All right, because Iran scrap. Okay, you see, Iraq, of course, they got to take the deal. They already locked into America, man. You see, so let's play this.
Iran, he's a Shia Muslim, very religious. He attended the funeral of the Ayatollah in Iraq. That's where he was buried in Iraq. That's where his home was in the first place. So he attended the funeral and was kissy with the other mullahs. Then he went to Washington D.C. and shook the hand of the guy that ordered the Ayatollah to be killed in the first place. This makes no sense to me, but nevertheless, this guy's a technocrat. He's not a radical sword-waving jihadist like they are in Iran at this point, but he's a business guy, has in business. He's held multiple positions in industry in Iraq in his short 41 years of life. So he's a young guy for sure. Trump likes this guy. Trump was kind of responsible to get him in there in the first place, because the first guy that they wanted to put in was more radical, is more very aligned with Iran as well. But Trump said no to that guy. He was elected by not popular vote, but whatever. He was elected by some committee or whatever. But Trump put his foot down and said, no, you're not going to put this call. We want somebody else. So they ended up with Zaidi right now. And here he is. I think there's a video in here that you can, it's a short one, might be worth playing.
All right, here we go.
We've had already a good meeting. We're going to decide to do a little lunch. It wasn't scheduled, but we are going to do it on the fly because we have a tremendous chemistry together.
That nigga might be an Edomite, man. Because they do that too. They put these tears, they look like, like a lot of these South American and Central American presidents. I know in Mexico, their president is a small hat. Their little chick, she's a small hat, man. Okay, but these devils do this too, man. They put these terrorists, okay, in these leadership roles, okay. But he was handpicked by America. See, that's what they wanted to do with Iran, but it didn't work. Okay, they had certain people in position, and their thing was because America's done this dozens of times. Because you look at it, it was foolish, but then at the same time, if it would have worked, it would have been great, for the West. Okay. And America has done that decapitation, all right, playbook dozens of times, maybe hundreds. Okay. And it's worked for them in a lot of different countries. You see? But with Iran, because what? Prophecy. You see? Prophecy. Okay. And it didn't work. And as you can see, they went in like it was no plan B. And that's why they winged it. That's why Pete Hegseth, all right, looking like a goddamn fool in front of the Senate, trying to explain why he need 67, 68 billion more dollars, why they cussing this nigga ass out, man. Okay, because the plan A didn't work, and now is winging it from here on out. Okay. And prophecy done took over, man. You see? So yeah, let's play a little more.
The Prime Minister of Iraq has been amazing. He won an election that a lot of people didn't anticipate could be won by anybody else other than another person who was not, in my opinion, a good person. Not good for America. I don't think good for Iraq. And I played a role in, it was very important to me to have somebody get in there that can do the job and do it well. And we have a fantastic champion, a new champion.
That nigga look like he MK'd Ultra Love too, man. This nigga ain't blinking. This nigga got no head movement, man. Wrong with this nigga, man.
He won the election very soundly, very conclusively, and he wasn't favored. But by the time they got to know him, he ended up winning, and he's going to be there for a long time. So I just want to say it's a great honor to have the Prime Minister of Iraq with us. He's been a great fighter, and he's been a great fan of America. We'll be discussing that a little bit with you. But they have tremendous oil reserves. They have tremendous potential wealth, and they have tremendous wealth, not only potential. But he's done in a short period of time, he's changed that country so much, especially toward their thinking about the United States. And we have partnerships. Chris was just saying we have tremendous oil partnerships all of a sudden being formed over the last short period of time. And I guess you're going to be announcing them this week or next week. But massive, among the largest. So they have done it
for a long. Cartoons make complex ideas easy to understand and are incredibly effective at teaching and selling. Cartoon videos educate better, capture attention longer.
A period of time. He said that twice. And I think the big thing was the potential wealth. That's the big driving factor here, right?
Exactly. And it's interesting that Trump made the point 2 times that he was elected soundly, with in Iraq. That was a bald-faced lie. He was not elected at all. He was appointed by a committee of 25 people or 23 people. And this was on the heels of the guy that got rejected or vetoed, if you will, by Trump. So Trump gets his guy. He was not elected. He's a technocrat. In fact, his own people call him a technocrat in Iraq. We see this time and time again.
Yeah, man. So this is the dream that they had for Iran. Okay, but Iran different. Okay, so they got their Manchurian candidate. Okay, in Iraq, and they saying that like they say, you'll listen to him and be like, "Oh, the people voted him in." No, he was appointed. And see, that's what you see Trump. He liked that type. He liked the big child. He liked that type of shit. He can go to another country and appoint a president. That's his little thing there. That's how because he's a goddamn coward. All right, 3rd generation coward. But see, he loves to go to these little weak nations and appoint, leaders that he wants. Okay, that's down with technocracy, man. So yeah, man, it's interesting to see these things play out. But even within Iraq, you got a lot of militant groups that's loyal to Iran, because even those refueler planes that was getting shot down during the first time during March, when they was at war in March, they was getting shot down from Iraq, from militants, that's a part of the resistance, what they call the axis of resistance. They was coming down, they was getting shot down in Iraq. So that's gonna be interesting to see, how that play out. But it all plays a part, in the bigger war. So let's get this last precept. I end it there for the day. But we see the devil, he's throwing everything at this new world order, man. He's rolling it out. He's rolling it out. Why? He's trying to fix that leakage in Iran, but that leakage in Iran is going to turn to a flood. All right. There's going to be Russia, China, Turkey, Pakistan, India, North Korea, etc. Okay. That's going to come forth, man, and fulfill their role in prophecy, man. This is Job 14:5. This is brother servants of Yahushua. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. That has appointed his bounds that you cannot pass, man. So the Lord got Esau down to the millisecond of how long this devil is going to be in power. Okay, and we see the devil starting to hit walls. Okay, he's starting to max out. He's starting to hit walls. Okay, as he's trying to roll this thing out, man. Okay, and it's beautiful to see it in real time. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters will edify once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutation to the hope elect. Shalom.